So yes guys, welcome back to another Cipher Chats. So this is going to be a rather unscripted video. So before we begin, if you're coming from the English side of the game and want to see my thoughts on set 3 Bastion and how you should build it for upcoming events like Bro and all this, I'll link to the article below, so do check it out. So now, let's begin to the video where we'll actually talk about Bastion Prime, the grade 4 unit for Gator Century in this set. So let me get one copy out. Yeah, this is Bastion Prime. So Bastion Prime is a really powerful card, one of the best grade 4s out of the set, competing with Prison and kind of Bruce, but yeah, it's really solid card. So to say what it does is Vanguard Circle, it gives all units 2k power, so it just doesn't care about the grade anymore, how Bastion cares about grade 3s. This actually gives straight up 2k to everything, so it can matter sometimes. Then the second skill for Bastion Prime is at the end of battle, of your unit's drive track. So this would still same wording as our base version. So Rugriel will still trigger it if you do check a grade 3 from it. Yeah, which is Rugriel is this card. Do pick this up, by the way. I think it's pretty going to spike up pretty soon. So yeah, anyway, if you do check a grade 3, you can Soul Blast a Bastion or discard a Bastion to then resend all your grade 3 units and give them 10,000 power. So why is this big? Yeah, first of all, triple drive, right? Triple drive, yes. Yeah, this is going to be really good, as previously Bastion can still whiff even if Frozen Knights on the return. So now, as this has an inbuilt triple drive, you should don't need to care about this card as much as before. Especially since this card requires you to have grade 3 amounts, which now, if Vanguard's a grade 4, I wouldn't really consider this a staple card anymore. Especially if you're focusing on Bastion Prime. So I feel right now the decks are going to diverge. Are you going to focus more on the typical Persona right game, 4 attacks but consistent power and draw and all this? Or are you going to go to Prime to try to end the game as soon as possible? So that's where I think the game is going to diverge for Bastion. So I'll be covering a lot of the deck profiles I'm really hyped for this set, and of course like Gator Century has for the future. So yeah, now that we talk about the skill, let's talk about what it actually does. So like, immediately this bumps up Bastion's attack from 4 typically to 5 consistently. There is a trade-off though, like as this is a grade 4, early game, when riding up from your right deck here, you actually will suffer some inconsistency, especially since this requires you to reveal 2, requires you to reveal 3. So yeah, this actually, and Bastion just needs to check a grade 3 in general. But yeah, another thing to note is this thing requires you to check a grade 3 or greater. So if you do check into a Bastion Prime, you can still resolve it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So right now, I feel the best way to use Bastion Prime is actually to use this Forgotten Order card, which is Protector Sprite. Since Format Chosen Knights has kind of like left the deck as a staple card for Bastion Prime, I'll just call it Prime, yeah. So yeah, this card actually can come in to shine again, or this card or Darkstrain really. But I'm testing this card, so let's see if a column like this, any grade 3s really, like something like that, yeah, sure. Like with Bastion Prime right now, you attack with this, cause you get boost from this. You triple drive with this, check anything, you can still blast the Bastion from here or discard this Bastion to resend all your units. So this gets 10, 10, 10, 10. So this basically they all get a base 20k power, not on top of your other skill. So in my opinion, this is really worth playing, as turn 3 you're still getting 4 attacks typically. So turn 3 4 attacks, turn 3 4 attacks, turn 4 5 attacks. Yeah, so this alone I think can end the game quickly, especially since a triple drive. This is where I feel this deck really shines, or this card really shines, as even if you don't play a deck based on Bastion, Bastion Prime, I mean, you can actually just slot in 2 copies of the deck as like a final turn finisher, like just stand and draw, write this up, then yeah, no Persona right, it's okay. Just still 5 attack turn, you might just end the game right there. But yeah, because you do not have the Persona right base power, having boosters is actually really important, which is where we'll get into this card again, Protector Sprite. So what this card does is discard 1, play him in the order zone. It's a set order, so it'll stay there for the whole game. During your turn, all your creatures get boost straight up. So yeah, this card just pretty much sets up all your Bastion plays. You play 1 the whole game. The other can be discarded for costs like Rugriel, right deck, and Bastion, regular Bastion on turn 3. Then the other route you can go is of course Darkstrain Dragon over here. So this is a old card in clear version just to show you the effect rather easily. So the main problem with this is of course the Soul Blast 2 cost. You need to keep paying it to maintain it. But if you play a build with like 4 swords and rough looks, a very typical set 2 Dark Train jet list, set 3 Dark Train list, I reckon it will still work. But right now, I think the biggest problem right now is the amount of removal in the meta. So just to highlight, we have Prison, which binds our field, Prison is the field. We have Flatbird, which retires 2, Derrick, which retires field. So yeah, and Meteor, of course, which retires field. So a lot of these decks, at least 3 of them are looking to be top tier decks in the set 4 meta game. So yes, with that in mind, Dark Strain is rather hard to use as you can't commit it early and to stay early game. And they literally like keep it in hand until the right moment to play it, which is basically turn 4. Where else discard, once you activate effect on turn 3 onwards, well, you're good to go. Of course, this is a -2 effectively to play it, which is the big issue with it. But that's where the new support cards come in. So I'll highlight the ones which I think are really important. So starting off with the most important Great 3s that come out of this set, which is Cipher, and this dragon card. I don't want to butcher its name, I don't know what it's called. Basically it's something Feather Dragon or something. This basically is a Grade 3 unit. When you got it, you choose one of your Grade 2 higher units, give it 10k shield. So it's straight up just 10k shield. But if your Vanguard's a Grade 4, like Bastion Prime over here, it becomes a 20k shield. Yeah, so basically if you play the front in this, well, you actually have a lot of shield value for a mostly Grade 3, Grade 4 deck. Then Cipher is this card. It's it has 2 abilities. So in the front row, it actually, when you resense, you can Soul Blast 2 to draw a card, which is pretty okay. So the idea behind it is you play early game with a typical right deck version, so you get this 3 soul, all that. You can actually play an Elden into it. You can play an Elden. Yes, you got the 3 counter blast like that. You can actually Elden into this thing. So blast 1, you draw 2, then attack with this. Okay. Attack Bastion, you restand Bastion by some skill. Then you can discard this, restand this, this guy. So blast 2, you draw 1 card. So effectively this becomes like free restand because you kind of cycle the card for it. And you do get rid of all your soul. So this might seem weird because Dark Strain is not, if you play Dark Strain, this card's not very good. But well, if you play Protector Sprite, which I said before, the soul won't really matter over here. Yeah. Then the other skill on the back row, which is the main reason why we're playing 4 of this in my opinion, is in the back row it gives the unit in front 5k power just constantly, the same column. So effectively if we play like a typical Elden turn, let's say called here, it gets the typical 2k from Bastions. Either one really works here. Then it gets 5k from Cipher. So even without a booster, this function is a pseudo 5k booster. So this is still hitting for 20k column because it's Elden, it's for 25, which is really big in my opinion. Like wow, now without Dark Strain or even anything, you can see good numbers, which was a problem because previously if Elden, the card we wanted to call was most likely for Sword to pressure with the counter charging for the persona builds and all this, or you usually call Rough Hook, call it down, put it to soul, and immediately go off. So that's really why I think this card's really good. Also Bastion Prime, because if you activate a boosting skill with Dark Strain or the thing, well yeah, you can actually boost attack. This is like, you can see the boost actually counts, and we restand the power still stays regardless. So it hits for very big numbers even without persona, right? One thing I'll highlight, like over here while showing all these numbers, is that Bastion Prime, while it can check a Grade 3 creator, it does stand only your Grade 3 regards, unlike Apex Ruler Bastion, which can stand any unit as long as you check a Grade 3. So this will matter if you have like random Grade 4s on the field by root skill. So when you actually resolve Bastion Prime skill, this unit will not withstand. I know it's a shame, I wish they did like Grade 3 creator, everyone withstands, but we'll have to live with it. Then, okay, now that we've covered like the new cards that actually matter for this deck, let's talk about some cards that don't quite meet the card. I'll go through them very briefly. So, this card, well, when it restands, give one other regard for 5k. Well, we have Elden and we have Cipher over there, we don't need this. Grade 2, treated as a Grade 3 on Red Circle, why not just play a Grade 3, right? I know shield value, but checking Grade 2s, we don't want that. Gives 5k shield when you're on Bastion, 10k shield Grade 2. We have the dragon, so it's fine. Then we'll talk about yeah, this is, I guess I'll go through this card. So this card's pretty designed more for like soap, so basically it depends on your draft check. If you check a crit or a front, you can combat front to resolve the effects. So if you check a crit, you can send back one of your opponent's front row to the bottom. If you check a front, you can return your grade 2 or below, which doesn't matter because it's all grade 3, so we don't play this either. Then this is our triple R, which is a shame. Well, this is, I don't know the exact name of this card, because English translations and Japanese translations do change over time. So this card is basically the halberd equal bar, I think, I'm not sure basically. So what it does is activate actually. So activate Soul Blast 1. You rest him, you look top 3 cards of your deck, you call a grade 3 among them, and that's it. It just stays there. So it's pretty okay in that sense. It helps you build the feel for Bastion Prime, and with Bastion Prime, if you leave it in the back row or something, you can actually, when you restand everything, he will restand, so he can boost if you have a boosting skill. So yeah, it kind of works, but personally I feel this card's a bit too clunky, especially since you have Alden already competing with Soul, and we want to play Safari anyway. So while I don't think it's that bad, this card just flops in comparison to everything else in the clan, even like Lagriel. So I didn't mention this before, but Lagriel and this two is also a strong opening hand. So like if you open Lagriel and this thing, you can actually do things like this. Let's do a typical, let's call some things there. So let's say a Bastion skill, 3 counter blast or something like that. Sorry, it's a little messy. So what you can do is like Lagriel attacks, gets 2 from his skill, gets 5 from his skill, counter blast 2, do the Trim Drive, grade 3, okay, propose the hand, I rest both, rest all 4, then okay, it's fine. Then we can activate Bastion's effect, discard 1, resend Safari, Soul Blast 2, draw a card back, then Bastion Prime plus 10k, Bastion gives 10k, then Bastion can track Twin Drive, pump triggers all on Safari over here. So that's another powerful turn 3 play that we have with Safari right now. For other options for deck building, I would say personally the way to use this is really, the way to use Bastion Prime is really determined by how well we can boost. So I'm really leaning towards this order card, but feel free to share in the comments below what you want to try it out with. Not cut it out. So yeah, then here are the last 3 commons, which are coin and rest, not really that impactful. We have the 7k, which this card's really interesting. On your Bastion Prime, it gets 5k power, and its grid becomes 3 on the Rearguard circle, so it can restand with Bastion Prime, or it will activate in the trigger zone. So if you do check it during a Bastion Prime turn, it will count as a grade 3, which is really interesting. The problem with this is on turn 3, it's a dead 7k grade 1. So yeah, for now it's not really that great. I'll still pick out the Hollow soon. Then the last 2 cards, pretty interesting. When checked by Bastion, you can discard this card when during the draft check to send your opponent's front row to the bottom of the deck, which is really good against Varinas, Prisons, even Zorgas. Yeah, so you might want to consider this thing and play a more mid-range Bastion, which I don't think is good right now, but maybe the meta falls for it. Then this card, which is basically Bastion Prime's dedicated unit. So on the radar circle, your Vanguard Bastion Prime, it gets 5k straight away, so it's immediately 20k, much like Elden. Then when it restands, it gets 5k. Basically, it's worse than Elden. But yeah, if you really wanted more attackers, it's a unit you might want to consider. As for like all the cards that work with Bastion, I recommend focusing on these 9 cards here, from new and old. So from the start, we have Rough Look, which is our typical go to soul, give 10k power, really good card. Lagriel, the dry tracking miracle boy in a sense, really good card, I would play it. Even though it's kind of blast heavy, but whatever, I mean sometimes you just win the game with it. Elden, our must play card regardless. For Sado, if you want to play a bit of more Dark Strain focus rather than Protector Sprite, definitely play at least this 3 engine at least, to make sure Dark Strain is very consistent. At least Rough Look, yeah. These guys are kind of the same page. Sperade, which is the new card, I think is really good if you're playing Protector Sprite and Lagriel with your engine, so really good. Then yeah, shield value of course, and of course Bastion Prime. Then another point of contention is of course, do you still run Apex Ruler Bastion, the normal Bastion, if you're playing a Bastion Prime focus deck? So I feel because I'm a little paranoid of not checking enough veterans, I still will play like 1 or 2 in the main deck, just in case I'm stuck on Bastion Prime on turn like turn 5. So like, turn 3 Bastion is fine, turn 4 we go Prime with guaranteed Bastion Soul. Then on the next turn, if you don't see a Bastion Prime, you just die, kind of like. So I still like playing a few more copies of Bastion, like maybe 1 or 2, yeah. Maybe they just me. So with that, we've come to the end of the video. So if you do like this content, do subscribe and all this. But before we go, yeah, are you going to use Bastion Prime in its own dedicated deck, as I've kind of like testing here, which I will do a deck profile eventually once I'm more confident in it. It's still week 1, yeah. Then of course there's typical regular Bastion over here. So are you going to use Bastion Prime only as a 1-2 off as finisher, or not at all, and focus on just using the new tools we have in with our Persona Bastions and all our Doctrine and even Chosen Knights to just try to end the game fast anyway. So yeah, I really feel it's really interesting for this series, especially as it's actually not a clear answer right now of how do we use it. Do we play like 4 of these actually as our main focus, or do we play a Persona version, a Ragriel Race version? There's a lot of things to discuss with this deck, and I'll be here for the ride all along. So with that, I'll see you guys next time.